Hello, it's Ben again from Couchside Resistance. Thanks for tuning in. Today I wanted to talk about how indigenous groups, minority communities, how their military service has been exploited and forgotten. And I want to talk about that on today's episode. Um, let's go all the way back to the American Revolution. During the American Revolution, many indigenous groups like the Oneida, the Tuscarora, and the Stockbridge-Mohican fought bravely alongside the Continental Army, but were denied land grants that their white counterparts received without much of a fuss or so much as a blink of an eye. And, you know, and if you go all the way back to World War II, there's examples in World War One, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. There's all these examples of how, like in World War II, African Americans fought bravely and often when they came home, were denied equal treatment. They couldn't get access to like some of the programs that were offered through the GI Bill, like help with education, housing, and due to local segregation, they just weren't able to get those resources. And what's even worse is that for the longest time we've actually been trying to suppress Native American language via boarding schools, and all of a sudden when World War II happens, we see that like how useful these native languages can be for codes in battle. And so one of the according to Douglas MacArthur, one of the most vicious fighting units he ever saw in battle was the 158th Regiment, which were known as the Bushmasters. And they sent these codes that weren't able to be broken by the Japanese. And they faced the same poverty, discrimination, and lack of resources like they did before. And it's a tragic irony that because of our white supremacy and our white supremacist history, we live in this hypocrisy, and we try to stamp out anything that's not Anglo, like white. But then at the same time, the world we live in is not doesn't just have that component to it. There's so many. Our world is so multifaceted for someone to think that the only thing that matters is the domination of white power. And so, but the reality is that that's not the way it is. There's other cultures that have just as much, if not more, to offer than the Western culture, than our Western culture. And I think that a lot of times we just forget that that people have given so much to this country to just be forgotten, exploited, and thrown under the bus, as Mark Driscoll would say. And then there's this man named Mazio Snipes, who served honorably overseas, and then I believe it was Taylor County, Georgia. Taylor County, Georgia. He was the first black person to cast his vote, I believe, in that election at the time, and a white supremacist shot him, and he simply died. He died from bleeding because he couldn't get the adequate care he needed and deserved. And we can't and this shouldn't be, an indictment on veterans. I think serving in uniform is a beautiful thing, and we shouldn't have a negative connotation. We do need a military. I think as leftists, we know that there's utility in using our tax dollars to having defense, right? And I think in not in every single way, but in a lot of ways, I believe our defense does keep us safe, even though I believe Trump is making us less safe in especially launching this war in Iran. However, we just need to not, forget that we haven't fully atoned for our racism, and I don't know if we ever will. But I'm not going to stop talking until we do. Simply put, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please subscribe, hit that alert bell, donate via Patreon, and if you found anything useful, please comment, show me appreciation, or show me some criticism too. Doesn't matter. I just want to interact and see see what I could do better in making this content, for you guys. And I hope you all have a great day. It's beautiful out there, at least where I am. And we'll see you in the next one. All right. Bye.